So if you guys watched the last video, you know exactly what we're doing here. If you don't, I'll give you the short version. What had happened was the kid broke the caddy again. We're going to see if we can fix it. So for you guys that don't know, this is a kid's 1998 Cadillac Eldorado ETC. Eldorado Touring Coupe, in case you're wondering. He got this thing from my brother about, I don't know, 5-6 years ago, something like that. And my brother had it for about 7 to 12 minutes, which might actually be a personal record for him. But he broke it. We fixed it. And the kid's been loving it ever since. Now, there's quite a few videos on this on the channel here because, well, they break a lot, guys. That's how it goes. It's a 98. It's got 140-something thousand on it. The motor's got about 80, something like that. I don't know. So it's got a newer motor in it. It's got an entirely new cooling system, an entire new brake system, everything except for what we're about to look at. So he was coming home from work. Deer jumped out in front of him. He nailed the brakes like mad hard. And, well, popped a brake line or something. It got spongy after that. He got it home. And we kind of just been letting it simmer a little bit. Because if you remember, I did the back brakes. Well, we did the whole brakes, you know. Pads, rotors, calipers, master cylinder, and the rear brake lines. I didn't touch the front brake lines, which it seems to be the front left's what's leaking right now. It's not the soft line. We got to pull off some plastic covers and stuff to figure out where it's leaking. And then at that point, we may have a decision to make. Because as much as he loves the car, well, you know, that ABS box and all that, it's all there under the motor. You got to, if it's leaking out of there, guys, sorry, buddy, but it's somebody else's problem. If we can change a line or a fitting or something like that, you know, take care of it again. It's a beautiful car. It cleans up really good. This right here, it's been sitting. Had a kid pop a picture up right here. It looks awesome when it's cleaned up. It's a beautiful car. It's a comfortable car. I think it's 30-something miles to the gallon. It's actually pretty quick, so I can see why he loves it. Bose stereo system, power everything, leather, you know, heated seats, the whole shooting match. But guys, right now, we're kind of in limbo as to when do you say when. And we're going to get the Suburban out of the shop, put this thing in there, and, well, hopefully we have a positive answer. When I say positive, I mean upbeat, not, you know. Guys, I found the problem right away. You probably saw it as I was like pulling it in. What kind of animal leaves a zip tie like that? You got to cut the tails off, guys. Man, thought I taught this kid better than that, you know? But I'm pretty sure we trimmed that. Everything will be fine. But just in case not, let's get under here, see what's going on. There we go. Well, you can see it glistening right there, right? So, clearly it's in this region right here. And let's look up. Oh, you see that very rusty line there? I'm thinking that's it. The good part is that is about the only part of that line you can see. So, well, no, runs across and goes back. So I'm thinking it's for the right side. See how I did that math there? Let me reposition, see if we can see where it comes in at. Just so you guys can see like what I'm looking at. We took that that plastic fairing off, or whatever you want to call that thing. It went right here. That's what made us see this problem right here. Let's see if we can figure out here. So here, and this, see those lines in there, that's where the ABS box is, right? It's not too bad to get to. Just got to take these, a lot of plastic. You got to take all that off and you can get into the lines there, I think. Is that the line? Position. I think that's it right there. Yeah, guys, this is pretty awesome. All right, that line is right there. Let's see if I can. Okay, here it is. I got it on the other side here. This is. No, that's not it. This is. Yep. All right, so that's that line. So we know it runs across the front over to the right side. Right here, it's got some kind of protective boot over it that apparently didn't do its job because this is a rusty mess, guys. Ugh. And then, so if we follow that line, looks like it's right there. They're doing that loop right there. It's a big cobweb. And then goes into, it all goes into, so right here it is, right here. And then goes in. Yeah, it just kind of makes a right and goes right into that box. So we can see some of it. It goes there, and then you really can't see it because it's a box there. Maybe over here you can. Let's take some covers off to really show you guys what's up. But I've had that cover off before, so I pretty much know how that looks in there. It's pretty awesome. Oh yeah. Well, guys, I cut it off. Brakes are still soft, still leaking, so worth a shot. I bet this was the cause of the whole thing, though. You know, because that's. Well, to be honest, that's the better of the scenarios, is a brake line. Change the line, bleed the brakes, you're good to go. If it was leaking out of the box or something like that, forget about it. I'm not even thinking about it. We were just going to off this thing, carry on, right? Here's the thing with the brake line. If you go back 6 months, a year ago, I spent a lot of time in this region right here. The brakes, the brake line from like right there back was terrible. When my brother bought the car, that's something seriously. He picked it up, drove it home, everything was fine. The original owner, all the receipts, I mean, like the perfect used car, right? Except you can't get on this thing to look at that kind of stuff. He drove it home, went to go out to eat that night, hit the brakes, it went to the floor. got a little eventful at that point in the game because he was coming out of mother's house and it's like this hill. So clearly he did well because the front of this thing's not smashed. So good job. Well, that's what kind of snowballed. And like I said before, I ended up capping those lines because I couldn't get the back lines. I couldn't get the fittings, all sorts. It was just one thing after another, guys. Caddy being Caddy and the 90s cars being the 90s cars. So, all that being said, finally the lines became available. We bought them. We tied them in. We're good to go. Luckily, we did that before the front line went because I kind of downplayed the deer thing, but it was like super close. He swerved this way, hit the brakes. There was a car coming the other way. It was a back road over here, like an Amish country, around midnight. You know, I was like, he did well. Good job, buddy. So, again, front of the car's not smashed up. Did something right. But if you watch those videos, it went on for longer than it should have. I was in a very bad mood. And you guys it sucked. That's all there is to it. So we got some decisions to make. I'm going to head up to the house, hose off, all that kind of stuff. We're going to sit down and have a conversation. Well, first we'll look for availability, price, see if there's any videos that anybody did these before, because not a whole lot of stuff on these cars, which is good for me. Like, I make a video, it's cool. But, yeah, not good for research. So we're going to look at all that, sit down with the kid, and we'll figure it out. And we'll let you guys know. All right, guys. It's been a couple days, and we had a conversation, and we did a little research. Now, when I say we, I'm talking about me and the mouse in my pocket, you know what I'm saying? Because talking to the kid, he asked me, what do you think? You know, he doesn't know, he's conflicted, I get it. Well, good news, like I said, a broken line or a rusted line or whatever is really the best case scenario, right? Because if it was that ABS box and all that, yeah, I wouldn't even want to mess with it. So that's okay. Did a little research on the old interwebs, and we can get them. It's about $100 for $10 when you get the stainless ones, and it seems to be the whole kit. It says it's the master lines coming down and everything going to the left and right, which is all your front lines. It doesn't say it's going in or out of that box, but I think the master, I'm going to trace it. You know, we'll check it out, guys. But I think the lines come off the master into the box, out of the box to the wheels. That's how I remember it. And I did spend way more time under this car than I wanted to in the past couple of years. So that's what I remember. Now, just because you can get them and you can see where it's leaking, that doesn't mean it's going to be an easy job. There was many a tool tossed around this place doing these rear lines. Now, they're done. I changed all but one of them because it looked fine. Right? And I didn't see this rusted one. I looked at all the lines, guys. Everything in the front looked good, but the problem is you can't see nothing, right? Like, when we really looked for, if that wet spot wasn't there, we weren't going to find that line. So everything's kind of hidden, and is why nobody wants to work on 90s cars, especially Cadillacs. They beautiful cars. I love Caddy. You guys know that. But, man, they don't make it easy, you know? So what we're going to do is we're going to see what other lines are in there. See if we can see other stuff, other things bad, before we just, you know, dive into this. Let's make sure that we're making the best educated decision we can. Because we have thrown some money at this thing. I mean, it's got, like I said, everything else in the brakes is brand new. Master cylinder on down, new tires, the whole cooling system, even like the heater core, all that. We just did the AC, new starter, new alternator, the alternator. New battery, you know, it's not looking like it usually does, but guys, like I said, it shines up beautiful. That's not even a problem. It's just comfortable. Everything works. Everything is nice. Everything's clean. We know a lot about the car, and he loves it. So, for those reasons, we wanna fix it. You got to look at the other side. When do you say when? When is it time? I don't know. That's a judgment call, and well, I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
Chaz, I was enjoying this so much I had to share. Check it out. Truck's on the lift. Me high. Look, standing up comfortably. Check this out. I can just stand here and remove this inner wheel well. Oops, sorry. Look at, I can just look at my electric tool. Oh, it's so easy. I'm not squatted all down. Just get this on here. See how easy it is? It's so simple. I already got most of them out. Yeah. That's why it's coming out. Anyway, I just wanted to show you how much fun it is to work with good tools and like just easy, just chilling. Such a good time.
All right, guys. Just getting a wheel well here. You see I took all these little plastic covers off. And there's the box I've been telling you about. So this line right here is the one that's leaking. All right. Clearly not here. You see, this is what I looked at. And like somebody's got some surface rust on it, but it just rubs off. It's nothing to worry about. So we know that's not true now because we've seen it where it's like underneath here. So this is going to be awesome. You ready? Like I said, this line right here does a whoosh, and then you catch it right there. That little, it's got a piece of rubber coating over it right next to that plug. Okay, and then let's go in front. I'm taking you guys on a journey with me. That's the part right there where it's all jacked up and leaking. See it right there? Okay. That's it. Yep. Runs along there. Goes back, and that's kind of where we lose it, guys. Looks like it runs on top of this beam here. I think that's it. Somewhere over there. Clearly it goes over here to the right side. I have to take all this off, I guess, too, to see. Oh, wait, no, you can see it back in there. Yep, you can see it in there a little bit. Maybe you can't. But I can. This is going to be dope. So, it doesn't look terrible there, but it doesn't look great. Of course, the more you go that way, the worse it looks, right? So, I'm going to look at that listing, make sure this line is in there with all this little bends and stuff, which I think it should be. And that'll help to my decision making. What do you guys think? Take a poll here. Do you think the line we need is in there? Well, I wish I could tell you. So, as luck would have it, it's really hard to tell. So, looking at the lines they have available, I see one that does a which we need, and then right after that, and then it goes straight, and then there's a fitting. Then there's others that look like it could be what goes onto the right side, but I can't see all that, right? I can't see it on the car. So what it kind of looks like is that they have more like rather than putting one line that would be impossible to put in with the motor and the car assembled, that they broke it down into two lines. That'd be awesome if they actually thought that far ahead and tried to help us out like that. Any of you guys that have worked on any of these Cadillacs, you know better. So I don't know. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get in the schematic. When I was doing the back brakes, that's what I had to do to figure out what tied in where. I found the schematic, went through it all, and we hooked it up. It's been doing great. So I need to find a schematic on the front and decide if that's where it goes and if I can trace it. And like I said, if it's actually two separate lines, it's probably a reason. It's probably easier that way. That would be pretty dope. Or I'm barking up the wrong tree and we don't even have the ability of getting this line. I don't know. We will find out. You know what? I promise you guys. I didn't promise. But I said I was going to show you under the hood where the master lines go and everything. So we'll look at that together, and maybe it'll help us figure something out. Worth a shot, right? I don't know what I was thinking, because that doesn't really help us out much, does it? I mean, two lines come out, go down. Yeah, that's about all we could see. So it doesn't help us out a lot, but maybe a little bit when we go ahead and look at the schematic and look at the lines that are available. You know what I keep thinking too, guys, is this car, I keep saying it had brand new brakes, brand new all this, and then I'm looking and it's like, man, why are these brand new calipers all corroded, right? Well, when I say brand new, I have absolutely no recollection, that's not the right word, but bearing on time, because this, I did all this stuff. I didn't even live in this house. We did it all in the other garage at the house we used to live in. So that was like 6 years ago, and the kid's been driving this thing the whole time. So, as Jay would say, this car owes us nothing. For what we even have invested, even with all the new parts, especially since I didn't pay for most of the brake parts, yeah. You can't pitch, I guess. I mean, you can, but nobody's going to listen, right? All right, that's gonna pretty much do it for this episode, guys. Not a whole lot of stuff solved. I mean, we might have actually asked more questions than we answered. But sometimes that happens. I mean, you can't just like jump in everything and fix everything right away. Anybody that's doing that is either lying, right? Or they've seen it before and they, maybe they fixed it before. Or I mean, I guess there are some gripes like that, guys. But when you're trying to make a decision on like when to say when, it's not that simple. We have answered some things. We had no idea what was leaking before. Now we know. We didn't know if we get the lines. We know we can get some lines. We don't know if it's all of them, so we got a little more research on that. I mean, anything, guys, like late 80s, 90s, especially front wheel drive and like caddies and these. It's not like working on these guys. Definitely not like working on these guys, which is going to lead us into a different tech tip for next week. So make sure you guys tune in on Tuesday when I tell you how much I hate working on this car, and I'd much rather be working on just about anything else around here. So with that in mind, like, share, subscribe, ring the bell, tell a friend, and for some people, guys, the coolest thing in the parking lot is right here behind me, right? So I know we may judge from time to time, but guys, this is actually a cool car. The kid absolutely loves it. So, like they always say, if you want to have the coolest thing in the parking lot, you better be ready to put in some work, Andrew. Thanks for watching, guys.